would be good for us.
However, things that were not completed, which I'm not going to mention them one by one, we talked about road infrastructure, some of which are not yet being implemented, and we are praying that you maybe take note of that. Then in the area of electricity, we want to say thank you. However, we have noticed some discouragement in the distribution of electricity in Lira City, whereby power is very unreliable and is affecting investors and some of the industry which are being put up. So please, we talked about that and we just give you feedback that this is yet to be helped.
I'm glad about the idea of a ranch. So I will tell our people to start supporting that ranch. Now I will get under the equipment, that the ranch needs the equipment and all that, but also the cows. You need both equipment and cows. I'm glad the chiefdom wants to do institutional farming. That's why we're asking for 11 tractors and an earth-moving equipment. That's a very good idea. Of course, these pledges, I may not have all the resources to implement them, but I will see what I can do. But this is a good idea. It is in the right direction. I'm very glad to hear our people in the north speaking of coffee, speaking of cocoa, speaking of avocado. Of course, you know I have always been encouraging you about the fruits also. But you should also add dairy farming and fish farming. So I'm very glad to hear people talk, because this is where the part of the poverty in northern Uganda comes from. The seasonal crops are good, but they are a bit erratic. One year they are all right, another year but the perennial crops, they give you like a stable base. You harvest this year and next year, and even if the price goes down, it can't go down so much that you fail to get some income. So and some of these areas have got enough rain to grow the coffee, to grow these crops which need good rainfall. So I'm very happy with that awakening of our people here.
Human life, rape and murdering Karamojong, cattle rustlers and displacing, uprooting and the elders of Karamoja there. Meeting number 2 will be in Lao. Actually stop, and we continue as brothers and sisters. 2020, then there is another meeting which was, if it was not possible, you'd give them some irons. Have not been done. What has actually happened is, the big story here is that in that meeting in Baralegi to the RDC's government, and he himself goes ahead to say you support him. Order number 29, Day of our Foundation 2003, that document is there. I like to end by saying, long live the President, long live NRM government.
Was about health. Your Excellency, as the need at the moment,
Now more from state. President Museveni this week assured the people of Acholi sub-region of government's commitment to end cattle raids by Karamojong cattle rustlers. President Museveni, who has been in the northern region of the right there to access and find solutions to the cattle raids by the Karamojong cattle raiders, made the assurance at a meeting with leaders from Macholi sub-region, whom invited to Baralengi State Lodge, Okwang sub-county, that is in Otuke district.
Now, the problem with the cattle rustlers is not really just the problem of the cattle rustlers. It is also a problem of weaknesses in the army and the police. So, otherwise, it's not a big problem really. It becomes big because the ones who are supposed to handle it, they don't do it. So yesterday we had a big meeting here. Even now, some of them are here. And from my intelligence, I had already discovered 5 problems.
And they know Pekka Beach.
Problem number 1 is that these soldiers take long to respond. When there is a report about this, about the cattle rustlers, they don't respond quickly. They don't work with the wananchi. Is anybody is coming to disturb you here? The wananchi tell you. But it seems some of our commanders, they now look at wananchi as if they are doing them a favor. They don't see them as their duty to provide a satisfactory service. They think that they are doing wananchi a favor. They don't approach the wananchi. That one we are going to sort out.
I am happy that you know how to manage the UPDF, and you have made very disciplined soldiers in Uganda. So let them be investigated, and anybody involved in this cattle stealing, let that officer be seriously handled by you, Your Excellency.
Well, still with our lenses focused on state activities, President Yoweri Museveni this week received a special message from his counterpart, His Excellency Salva Kiir of South Sudan. The message was delivered to President Museveni at Baralengi State Lodge in Okwang Sub-County, Otuke District, by the Special Envoy of President Salva Kiir, Honorable Dr. Benjamin Bolmel. The Special Envoy was accompanied by the Ambassador of South Sudan to Uganda, His Excellency Ambassador Simon Deng, among others. Now, in other news, the continuous increase of floods recently has seen properties destroyed, roads damaged, and people displaced. Experts have warned that the country will continue to experience more flooding should the government not hasten to protect catchment areas that act as water absorbers to prevent flooding.
Experts have warned that the country is yet to experience more disasters if the government does not hasten climate change mitigation programs to curb the increasing cases of encroachment to the country's ecosystems.
If you check the rate at which wetlands are going, if it is not checked, then I think we shall be in a total disaster.
Floods in different regions of the country have seen properties destroyed, road infrastructures damaged, and people displaced.
These environmental challenges we are having in the country, when you go and tell NEMA, please, they are dumping maram in Rutembe wetland. The rice projects around Rukaya, eating all northwestern shores of Lake Victoria, are going to cause a problem in the near future.
On September 2nd, 2021, NEMA stopped indefinitely issuing approvals for all projects in wetlands. September 2nd, 2021. Since then, we have not approved any project within the wetland ecosystems. And these that are legal follow the procedures that we give them. To undertake sand mining, like not going beyond a certain depth, like restoring a particular area before moving on to another mining site, and the likes.
If NEMA knew that if we give out this EIA certificate in Rutembe wetland and it is degraded and it is found out that once it is degraded we shall be arrested, they wouldn't do it.
Derek Muhwezi, a senior lecturer at Makerere University Department of Geography, Geoinformatics and Climate Sciences, weighs on Uganda's topography, its complex geological nexus and what can be done to address the challenge.
I would feel that we need to critically look at the whole basin. If it is Katonga, let's look at Katonga as a basin. If we are in Semliki, like you are talking about Ntoroko, whatever those areas, we look at that area as one basin. We don't look at just the area which is flooding. Because the flooding might be, a result of what is happening in the slopes.
The consistent flooding has become endemic in Rwenzori region, mostly in districts of Ntoroko and the Albertine Graben. Some of these areas have experienced an increase in rainfall, forcing rivers to burst their banks.
So expect that all those mountains in Hoima, around Ntoroko, in Masindi, the rivers or the water from all those hills will be releasing water during rains and the water flowing down the Rift Valley. If there is nothing to check them, then you end up getting such a situation.
So if I'm to talk about Katonga, for example, as a basin, I must look at where River Katonga starts from and where it is going. The problem may not be where it is going. The problem might even be where the river is coming from.
What's going to happen, like moving forward? We are just in May. We are just in mid-month May. And so the rains are going to continue. I'm more than certain the rains are going to continue coming in most parts of the country. And therefore, we should be experiencing some more, floods in some places, not everywhere.
The rapid population growth has triggered urbanization, leaving the formerly forested hills destroyed and wetlands encroached upon, which leads to consistent flooding in Kampala and other areas.
They are complaining, water has flooded Napi, but you have eaten up the whole hill. So the water from the hill has nothing to check it. We call it storm water. Storm water. If it is Kampala, water is flowing at a high speed, taking up border people, taking up people moving on foot because there is nothing to check it.
All the valleys in Kampala city were wetlands. But you would expect that a place like Kampala to have a drainage master plan.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Ministry of Works and Transport this week embarked on the installation of security lights on Entebbe Express Highway from Bosegal to Mpala interchange to curb illegality and criminality on the road. This is after a number of complaints and concerns are raised by road users about the increasing robbery and theft on the road and accidents due to lack of security lights to ascertain the situation. Details in this report.
There have been a number of incidents happening on Entebbe Express Highway, causing tension, panic among the road users. On 9th September 2019, unknown assailants attacked Joshua Intereho and Marina Tumukunde at Nambigirwa Swamp near Pala Toll Gate and shot them dead. Ahabwe Mark Kiza is a victim who survived being killed while on his way into Entebbe, just a few meters from Busega Road Toll, where his car was torn by robbers on 5th October 2022.
Shortly after the Busega Road Toll, the third flyover, I was heading to Entebbe, the third flyover, some guys who stand up there on the flyover hit me with a stone which I showed you earlier. Yes, I lost control, but I managed to control it. I lost control, I started veering off the road. Meanwhile, I was yet to cause an accident, and a bad one.
According to the road users, such incidents, including night accidents, attributes to lack of security lights on the road, which creates a room for criminality.
Lulungi nnyo naye lwa bulabe nnyo kuba terulinaako mataala n'ebifo ebimu tewali kamera zisobola kulaba ng'oli mu injury.
Sengenge abantu baamubbako kati abantu basala batandise n'osalirako bayimirizaako emmotoka ng'ova eno ng'ovuga omanyi tewali mmotoka tewali bisolo kwebiri ate n'ekirala luliko ababbi bangi.
According to Aegis, responsible for security and maintenance of Entebbe Express Highway, the installation of security light will be done in a period of 1 month.
We started the installation of lighting poles on the road. As you all know, we've been in the process of lighting up the road, the Kampala-Entebbe Expressway, for visibility and increased safety, especially at night for our road users. So today we had to start the putting up of poles. These lighting poles.
There are also plans to put more security cameras on the road to aid the security operatives to ensure sanity on the road.
Very many issues have come up, especially at night when the road users cannot see ahead. Also having insecurities, especially robberies or stray animals that cross the road when they can't be seen, so those cause road accidents. But we hope when the lighting comes up, all these issues will be solved out.
Meanwhile, drivers have been cautioned on overspeeding during rainy seasons, which has caused a number of accidents on the road. Despite the fact that they have embarked on the installation of the lights, a lot needs to be done to maintain lights along Entebbe Road. Currently, some security lights from Pala interchange to Entebbe have been knocked down by speeding cars, hence leaving some of the areas in a total. However, the question remains, will the installation of security lights at Express Highway curb criminality and illegalities on the road?
Name?
My assistant.
In more updates, they embattled a driver to the Chief Justice, one Stanley Chisambira, who whistle blew in an audio recorded a voice alleging that drivers at the judiciary are being overexploited, was this week held accountable for whistleblowing, contrary to the oath of secrecy he saw while obtaining the job as a public servant. The permanent secretary to the judiciary, Pius Bigirimana, revealed at a press conference in Kampala. Chisambira was arrested and locked up at the Central Police Station in Kampala this week, but was later released.
Following an audio by the judiciary driver Sandra Kahunde on different social media platforms, making allegations of exploitation with a meager salary of 200,000, the judiciary has turned its anger to Kahunde to have contravened the oath of secrecy he took when he acquired the job of a driver at the judiciary. In what seems to be a turnaround of events, the permanent secretary to the judiciary, Dr. Pius Bigirimana, is refuting allegations of meager pay and exploitation to the embattled driver Kahunde.
That he gets 200,000 shillings only. I have got evidence here that he gets more than that. Actually, if you add what he gets in a month, it's more than 1.3 million shillings. But he went and told lies that he gets 200,000 shillings. And by the way, on top of that, he has got an insurance card.
Judiciary also accuses its driver Chisambira for failure to utilize the available remedies to seek redress over what he termed as the exploitation of judicial drivers in an audio note that went viral on different social media platforms.
There is an association of drivers here. They meet. There is a transport officer. There is another secretary. There is a PA somewhere, I'm the accounting officer. Why not come to me and say, you know, sir, I'm being really marginalized, or I'm not getting my allowances? Would I fail to listen to him?
Omuntu yandibadde nti mukulu gyendi ye chairman wa driver ba judiciary. Naye ye muntu gwensobola okutuukirira ntukane antwale erya gye kikwatako n'akulaga embeera nti tasobola kikola that time.
Sandra Kahunde, who was detained earlier this week at the Central Police Station in Kampala. Wednesday afternoon, he was released on a police bond.
Esente ze bagamba nti waliwo sente simanyi waliwo obusente obulala bwe tufuna kati for example nfuna emitwalo 22 omwezi ngeze sente ziri supposed ngenda ne mukama wange mu weekend mu mwezi omulundi ogwo era ezo ziba papas za kugenda kwebaka wengendo okusula n'okulya tukomewo ku Sunday ku mulimo.
Despite Sambira's woes at the judiciary, the permanent secretary to the judiciary, Dr. Pius Bigirimana, has given the embattled driver 5 days to explain why his services at the judiciary shouldn't be terminated.
We have to follow the code of conduct of public servants. The public service is not a jungle where you go and do whatever you want to do and go away with it. He has to answer why he told lies to the public to create an impression that actually judiciary is not looking after him or is not looking after other drivers.
Meanwhile, in the press conference, judiciary has also highlighted on some of its achievements as per the NRM manifesto.
The judiciary is developing a judicial and corruption strategy from 2023 to 2030 to strengthen capacity to combat corruption. The implementation of victims in 8 courts has minimized the human-to-human contact.
Uganda's judiciary remains among the first 3 corrupt institutes of government, according to the Inspector General of Government and Transparency International Reports 2022, a matter that Permanent Secretary Pius Bigirimana agrees with, but expresses commitment to fight corruption.
And I want to really call upon the public to help us. If you think that an officer is corrupt, or if you are asked for money, why don't you report such a people? You can even use means of, you can even mark the money and you give the money to that person and you call police.
Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugudde, UBC News.
UBC Weekly News Roundup. Karamoja Sub-Region is to receive 47 billion Uganda shillings before the end of this financial year for parish development model. So far, over 20 billion Uganda shillings has already been remitted to the banks in Karamoja in the last 2 quarters for the parish development model. Leaders say there is a need for quick transfers of money to the beneficiaries so that they use it for planned activities.
A high-level stakeholders meeting has been held in Moroto district to discuss the implementation of the parish development model in the region. The Minister of State for Minerals, Peter Rokeris, PDM National Coordinator, Sozi Galabzi, officials from UBOS, RDCs, political and technical leaders from the 9 districts of Karamoja attended the meeting.
We discussed these issues, look at the challenges, look at everything that we feel is not, can be a challenge or can be a hindrance to the progress of the program. And we move as a team, both the political leaders and the technical leaders at the district.
The parish development model, specifically on data collection and the rollout of the financial inclusion system, which has to do with the parish revolving fund.
The Parish Development Model National Coordinator, Sozi Galabzi, explained that Karamoja Sub-Region is to receive 40 billion shillings before the end of this financial year.
2.5 billion for the 2 quarters, but we expect that by the end of this financial year they will have 47 billion for the Karamoja sub-region. So it's quite big amounts of money, and we believe that it will cause some economic transformation.
Leaders say Karamoja needs a unique parish development model design.
Are more in crop farming and livestock. And if you look at the intentions of this for many, if I'm not mistaken, 50% of them would want to buy livestock. And yet, that is one of the main causes of insecurity in Karamoja. What are we doing about it? Personally, I would advise that, I would suggest that restocking is given a hold in terms of these interventions, because they risk, those livestock goats will risk to be...
Of course, the enterprises are also going to differ here and there, but that is a decision that has to be collectively taken by both the technical people, the beneficiaries, but also the politicians on the other hand.
During the meeting, leaders aired out challenges they are facing in Karamoja.
And all these people are working in very turbulent waters. To work in Karamoja is not simple. So I pray to appeal to you, the leaders, let us continue, especially our officers in uniform.
Yes, I want to break something. I have a division of Otudo municipality, which has only one primary school, with the 30 villages, without electricity. Water is very scarce. You find a parish of 11 villages, sharing only one per home. So sometimes this PDM contradicts. When you read the second pillar, it says the PDM must facilitate this process, this pillar. Again, you go back and say this is not grant, this is involving fund. So look at this confusion. The second one, you are saying use this PDM to deal with the second pillar. The pillar in the other pillar of financial inclusion says no, please, by the way, me I'm the third one and I want this money back. So you can see where the problem is.
Leaders called for immediate release of the money to the beneficiaries' accounts.
The processes that are required for the people to receive the money should be fastened so that even by next week the beneficiaries should get. We have dispelled the excuse of the rain season has gone. No, there are things that can be done without the rain season.
Money has come, it has not gone out yet. They are saying they are going to do it, and these are just refused, trying to skill people on how to approach those. No, that doesn't fail the way other programs have been failing. And that's what the government wants. It is just to better the welfare of the people.
Adia Nakute, Moreniga, UBC.
Buganda Road Magistrates Court this week charged and remanded a police constable Ivan Wawire over cruel cold-blood murder of an Asian money lender, Outman Bandari at Raja Chambers in Kampala last week. Magistrate Sandra Kahunde remanded Wawire to Luzira prison as inquiries into the murder proceed on account that the convening court had no jurisdiction to handle capital offences.
Police Constable Ivan Wawire was dragged before Chief Magistrate Sandra Kahunde of Buganda Road at around 10:30 a.m. to answer charges of murdering an Indian national and money lender last week, Outman Bandari, which culminated his arrest on the Uganda-Kenya border of Busia, as he was making attempts to sneak into Kenya earlier this week on Sunday.
It's alleged that you, number 67029, PC Wawire Ivan on the 12th day of May 2023 at Raja Chambers along Parliamentary Avenue in the Kampala district with malice aforethought unlawfully killed Outman Bandari Salman.
Have you understood the nature of the charge?
With discriminatory powers given to her, Magistrate Sandra Kahunde didn't allow Ivan Wawire to take plea, citing that the court has no jurisdiction to handle capital offences.
So this court has no jurisdiction to hear your case? so you will not be allowed to breed to the church. So in the circumstances, I'm sending you on remand till...
State Attorney Joan Keko told court that investigations into the murder are inconclusive, pending submissions of Anto Satan Tewawire's mental status.
The prosecutor would like to inform court that in due course we shall make a formal application to court to allow us access the accused person in prison for his mental state to be assessed. So for now, investigations are still ongoing. We pray for a date for mention of this case.
Following submissions, Magistrate Salatu Musime remanded Ivan Wawire to Luzira Government Prison until 7th June 2023. For mention of the case, prosecution alleges that Ivan Wawire, on the 12th of May 2023 at Raja Chambers in Kampala, with a malice aforethought, unlawfully killed Wutama Bandari, an Indian nation. Meanwhile, the hearing of the case in which 6 people accused in the murder of Maria Nagilinya and Donald Chitahimbwa flops. The flop followed the identification of a suspected John Lubega to have been in a possession of a cheat in the dock while giving his defense. Judge Isaac Mwata adjourned the matter to 17th May 2023 for preparation of Lubega's defense. Deborah Nama Monde, UBC News.
In more updates, Uganda produces an estimated 24,000 metric tons of honey, of which only 14,000 metric tons is sold to the market, earning the country at least $38.4 million US. Now, the country, however, has the potential to produce at least 500,000 metric tons of honey that can enable it to take advantage of the international deficit that now stands at 3.6 million metric tons annually. It is for this reason that Uganda on Saturday, the 20th of May, observed the International Bee Day under the theme Be Engaged, celebrating the diversity of bees and beekeeping systems at Namlonge Agricultural Research Center.
The honey industry contributes close to $38.4 million to the Uganda's gross domestic product. Bees provide at least 720 metric tons of beeswax, generating about $5.2 million. 5,000 liters of propolis tincture, generating $320,000. Bee venom, 150,000 liters of honey. Wine generating about $900,000 annually.
I'm able to harvest at least 5 jerrycans per season, and this jerrycan is 36 kilograms. You see, the demand of honey is very high than production everywhere.
Uganda's bee products are mainly exported to East African countries, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, United States of America, Germany, Japan, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and in the European Union market, as Uganda prepares to mark the International Bee Day, set for the 20th of May, under the theme Be Engaged, celebrating the diversity of bees and beekeeping systems. It should be noted that bees are critical for food security as their pollination factor increases food yields by 30%.
As I keep bees, I profit from your agriculture. Indirectly, you will not be knowing, but you also benefit from me because you also be pollinating your crops. So all of us, we stay friendly, helping in each other in an indirect manner.
Uganda produces 24,000 metric tons from over 1.2 million people engaged in beekeeping, producing honey and other beehive products. There are over 100 farmers' organizations and private companies dealing in beehive products trade.
I began with traditional hives. This is made out of our local material. Slowly, I graduated to these wooden structures. I went again from the traditional beehives. I went to to KTB, Kenya Top Bar. Then from Kenya Top Bar, I've now graduated to Langstroth, which is a more modern beehive.
Beekeeping is an important occupation which provides livelihood to millions of people in addition to promoting sustainability, improving agriculture, regenerating forests, ensuring survival of many plants and their reproduction, among others.
Because I've got other activities on a small piece of land, I have about 5 acres, but my agriculture, all of it is feeding there. I've got some animals, feeding animals, my crop is there, and also my beekeeping is there. My small son also now is putting their pond on the same 5 acres of land.
Too much rain, parasites in addition to malicious destruction of beehives, inadequate funding for the beekeeping industry, scattered individual producers among others are affecting Uganda's potential to produce at least 500,000 metric tons of honey.
So they can't suffocate because there will be enough air coming inside. It's very suitable. The session is after Gata, so they will feel very happy. They are home.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is to embark on residue monitoring of products from bees, including honey, to look out for inorganic pesticides and heavy metals said to be in bee products to maintain the quality of bee products for a better market. Clearing of natural vegetation and poor use of agrochemicals are some of the threats to the continuous production of bees, because forests act as homes for bees but also act as a hub for other plants needed by the bees. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, a sad update coming through. A veteran sports presenter, Stuart Mutebi Achiwanika, passed on this weekend. During execution of his duties, Stuart, as he was fondly known, exemplified a professionalism that grew him from a youngster at Radio Uganda into arguably the best Luganda football commentator that Uganda has seen. After Radio Uganda, he moved to Central Broadcasting Services, then Super FM, with this punctuated by a stop at NBS TV before a return to the national broadcaster where he worked at Star FM. We shall provide further details in our subsequent bulletins. Rest in peace, Stuart Mutebi. You fought a good fight, kept your faith, and you have finished your race.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanyi kuzunga na banka siripsi? Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited, erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100*5# to enjoy free data.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
In partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
The
Renzol Agribusiness Show is here under the theme Revolutionizing Agriculture through Value Addition, Innovation and Technology, scheduled for 13th to 16th June 2023 at Uhinga Stadium for Potro Tourism City, with a free medical camp running throughout the show. Entrance is totally free. To sponsor, partner and participate, contact 0702 301 059 or 0773 458 492 or 0773 301 059.
Acquiring a tin is now easier than ever before with a new interface that is brief, simple, and cuts out all the excess fields from previous applications. All you need is your national ID and you're good to go. No more waiting in long queues, as you can now acquire a tin instantly from wherever you are. Remember, it's free. Experience our new and improved modern interface that is user-friendly.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Welcome back. Good to know you're still following this newscast, the weekly news roundup. For now, updates from the business world. Ministry of Works and Transport is in the final stages of drafting regulations for the implementation of a mandatory licensing of motor garages across the country. Now, according to the Minister of Works and Transport, Sandra Kahunde, the process of licensing of garages that was meant to start in March 2021 was delayed by the draft process formulation for supporting the regulations. The licensing of garages is enshrined in the 2020 road safety that was passed by Parliament.
Motor garage business at present only entails one register as a company through the Registrar of Companies, a process which is not mandatory. The process does not also require any certain level of professional experience or expertise, but compliance with business registration and tax remittance. The proposed mandatory garage licensing by Ministry of Works and Transport will now require all garage owners and startup garages to be registered and certified through Ministry of Works and Transport. The proposal is enshrined in the Traffic and Road Safety Act that was passed in Parliament in 2020 with the intention of reducing mechanical hiccups that arise from poor vehicle handling in garages.
There will be nobody who will be allowed to operate a garage unless it's licensed. Why? Because we think also those Kayembe garages have a contributing effect on the accidents.
During a random visit to select garages around Kampala city, including Jukan Sons and MYP, we sought their opinion on the move.
But I think it would be much better for the ministry to take out that work.
We don't expect that the prices will change. That is what we are asking basically.
Tom Juko, the founder of Jukan Sons Workshop Nakawa, opened his mechanic workshop in 1989, which he later registered in 1992 through the Registrar of Companies. With much experience in auto repairs, Juko says the move has been long overdue, as it has created room for quack and unskilled mechanics in the system. Andrew Musonge and others in the similar job line share the same view.
Vitali bituufu balina emikisa mingi nnyo okusinga abakola ebituufu kuba boogera nnyo okumatiza okusinga ebikolwa.
I know many people are looking for jobs in garages here and there, but people have to be satisfied to do what they do. There are many people out there who have just opened up garages and are doing fake works.
The Minister of Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, says the ministry is yet to finalize the supporting draft regulations for implementation.
Because somebody goes on Kayembe and says, "Nkonera mwao," and he's back on steering. So we are going to say, now we are saying no, all garages must be licensed. Senga tusanga nti emotoka eno ebadde bad condition nenga yayise mu garage kye yagikozeeko.
If the proposed move for mandatory licensing of garages is rolled out, it will now require 1 to be in possession of at least a certificate or requisite professional training or expertise in vehicle mechanics. It will also be against the law for an untrained technician to operate without necessary requirements.
Certifying a garage means that you're going to have to certify even the individuals who do the mechanics. So people should have papers. So it's not just a guy learned offhand.
It is worth noting that most people working in most garages learned their skills through voluntary training, where they gained their experience and trust from clients. A section of garage operators propose that government should create a clear system of engaging both skilled, educated and skilled non-educated without rendering anyone unemployed, but also empower some garages to train at vocational level.
The Ministry of Work should also push for such people to get certain kind of papers, because there are guys who haven't gone to school but they are skilled.
Kisoboka nga bw'owulira nti wa Ministry of Works oba ki yandibadde esobola okuyamba ku bantu abo abandibadde nga ba dropouts kubaffe tuba tujjawo bwakireereese.
On the contrary, they think government should follow a chain reaction for certifying services by doing the same to dealers in auto spares. Early this year, Parliament tasked the Ministry of Works and Transport to also take note on the importation and sale of car spare parts.
Regulation of importation of vehicles or vehicle parts.
Mechanics repair car body parts, restore paint, panel beat and make vehicles roadworthy, among others, which requires one to be trained. The policy regulations are expected to be ready in July 2023. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
In more business talk, Airtel Africa has a leading telecommunications and mobile money services provider in Africa has launched a new brand campaign called A Reason to Imagine. The campaign aims at establishing a deeper emotional connection with Africa's youth and highlight Airtel Africa's role in enabling their dreams and ambitions.
You have had the biggest.
The campaign recognizes the power of imagination as the most valuable qualification in Africa. It showcases Airtel Africa's commitment to harnessing the potential of the youth by delivering relevant solutions that enhance digital and financial inclusion. Airtel Africa believes that empowering the younger generation is transformative for the future of not only Uganda but the entire region.
To bring light by this campaign. Our objective and our purpose as a company is to empower Ugandans, to empower Africans in all the 14 countries that we operate. So every single one of the employees here will actually be introduced to some of the EC members. That is what makes us win every single day.
Through the Reason to Imagine campaign, Airtel Uganda reaffirms its commitment to advancing the progress of Africa's youth by providing connectivity that turns every situation into an opportunity.
Smartphones is about 35% population which has smartphone. That's number one. Second thing, remember, for you to be able to achieve your wildest imagination, you don't have to actually go to the internet. Some people right now, we know that a lot of Ugandans don't have a smartphone. Yes, we are trying to ensure that they have, and they can go to any of our shops, they can be able to get a smartphone, even pay in installments. But at the same time as well, even with your phone, you can be able to connect to the world. Remember, that phone can actually be able to send an SMS, can be able to make a call. You can be able to talk to somebody about anything. It does not matter whether in Najumani, you can talk to somebody in Kampala, and that's how you connect. So, like, for example, the example which was being given for the guy who was selling gumboots during the last event, he just made a call. He didn't need a smartphone. He just made a call.
Relatedly, Airtel Uganda has introduced eSIM, embedded SIM technology, allowing customers to access the same features as with a physical SIM card. The eSIM offers several advantages over traditional SIM cards. It is convenient to set up online, eco-friendly with zero plastic waste and carbon emissions, and enables users to have two numbers without recurring two devices. Users no longer need to worry about damaging or losing their SIM card.
I would request all of you to convert your physical SIM to eSIM. It's an excellent experience. You can just visit our stores. They will help you convert your existing physical SIM to eSIM. Is actually, their imagination is profoundly displayed in the enterprising work that they are doing in
growing creative industry, ICT, arts, sports, and even agriculture. The youthful customer now needs more than functional products and services. They need a long-term supportive partner.
This initiative is one of many that Airtel Africa has invested in to promote youthful talent and expertise in education, sports and the innovation sectors. Sandra Kahunde, Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
The entire executive committee together.
Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa! Best group is I teach you. When I'm going to which the muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is yes you? What can I watch? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Well, we do appreciate you for being loyal and still following the weekly news roundup. Now, international updates are coming through before we let you go enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Britain this week called for reform of the European Court of Human Rights after judges there blocked flights carrying asylum seekers to Rwanda for processing. There has been a sharp rise in the number of migrants arriving in small boats on Britain's shores. And the government believes the policy of sending them to Rwanda will dissuade many from making the dangerous journey. But as Henry Ridgewell reports, many analysts say Britain's European allies have little appetite for reforming the court.
Authorities have detected almost 7,000 migrants crossing the English Channel in small boats from France so far this year. The total for 2022 exceeded 45,000. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has repeatedly pledged to, in his words, stop the boats. So Britain signed a deal with Kigali last year, which would see an unspecified number of migrants flown there for processing, asylum and resettlement, with no right to appeal. Britain has already paid Rwanda $150 million under the agreement.
It's novel, it's ambitious, but I believe it is compliant with our international obligations.
But judges at the European Court of Human Rights disagreed. Just as the first plane was about to take off for Rwanda last June, the court issued what's known as a Rule 39 injunction, blocking the flights on the grounds that they likely breach the Council of Europe's Convention on Human Rights, to which Britain is a signatory. The Council of Europe is not part of the European Union. In response, the British government has introduced new legislation which would override European court decisions. The bill is currently being debated in Parliament. And at a meeting of the Council of Europe this week, Prime Minister Sunak said he would try to persuade European partners to reform the court itself.
We want to make sure that the European Court is always conducting itself in a way which is fair, which is effective, which is transparent.
Some analysts say Europe is not in the mood to negotiate with Britain after the country's exit from the EU.
I'm not necessarily sure that they will go the extra mile to go and enter into reform of yet another sort of European institution to please Mr. Sunak and his hardline government when it comes to migration.
Some members of Sunak's Conservative Party want Britain to quit the Council of Europe and its Convention on Human Rights. The last country to leave the organisation was Russia, expelled last year after its invasion of Ukraine.
Faced with the threats of rights, you give us what we want, so we just leave the European Convention of Human Rights. and the Council of Europe, the answer could very well be, well, let's go, go ahead and be a pariah state, just like Russia is. I think it would be a mistake for Britain to do that at the moment, especially, as I say, given that we have a war next door.
Just over a quarter of the migrants arriving on small boats in 2022 were Albanian. Britain has deported over 1,000 back to their home country. The Albanian Prime Minister said last month that Britain was having a nervous breakdown over migration. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
More foreign updates on May 17th. A VOA reporter on Chad's border with Sudan heard gunfire explosions and witnessed bodies, casualties, and even stray bullets coming across the border from the town of Atadalti in Sudan, about 900 meters away. Observers say concerns are growing that the intense violence in Sudanese western Darfur region could spread to neighboring countries. Meanwhile, Chad's police chief told VOA he is urging citizens to remain calm. Henry Wilkins reports from Kufron and Chad. Faster caution to our viewers that this report contains graphic and disturbing images.
In the town of Kufron on Chad's border with Sudan, the sound of gunfire is heard coming from the town of Temdelti, about 900 meters to the east. Fighting had broken out overnight there between ethnic Arab armed groups and what witnesses said were black Sudanese civilians attempting to defend themselves from what they referred to as Janjaweed. Injured men began coming across the border to seek refuge and medical attention.
There have been clashes over the border, and some have entered the town. Some of us tried to defend ourselves.
A vehicle arrives to take the injured man to the nearest medical centre. Analysts say that intercommunal violence in West Darfur, triggered by Sudan's internal conflict which started on April 15th, is likely to spread across the border to Chad.
It's not in the interest of Europe or the United States or anyone for Sudan to continue to be in conflict, because it's 100% positive that the continuation and prolonging conflict in Sudan will spill over.
Back in Kufron, chaos sets in among the thousands of Sudanese refugees who fled into Chad. The bodies of friends and relatives begin to arrive across the border. The refugees pulled the shirts over the faces of the deceased, makeshift shrouds. VOA counted at least 3 bodies. For some, the scenes were too much. Analysts point out that the Darfur War of 2003 quickly spread to this area of Chad.
It's something that's very dangerous, and that can very easily spread the fightings to Chad, because the composition of the forces and presence itself, it's very ethnic.
Chadian security forces begin to clear the area of crowds as more bodies come in. Later in the day, the Chadian chief of police, Hamid Daouda, gave this comment to VOA on the events that took place in Kufron.
If it happened that the rebel Sudanese shot the gun or not under the Sudan government, I've said that all the measure has been taken. All are in control now. So if you have seen it happen, it will not happen next again. From where they saw it coming, measure has been taken to master it. Thank you. Keep cool, and walk. Keep cool.
500 meters inside Chad, one bullet hit the ground nearby and another zipped past. Some members of the crowd began to panic and retreat. This reporter left the area. Henry Wilkins for VOA News, Kufron, Chad.
Well, thank you so much for watching and following updates as far as today's weekly news roundup is concerned. Well, from the entire team behind the scene, wish you a beautiful Sunday afternoon and, of course, a fruitful week ahead. We're proud of you for choosing the national broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahunde.